informational,
fun,
timely,
relevant.
That's what people are saying about A to Z in real estate. 30 minutes packed with great info for home sellers, buyers, and investors. And now let's welcome your host, Lizzy Cohen.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to A to Z in real estate. I'm your host, Lizzy Cohen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And first off, I want to thank Coldwell Kinard Realty, our sponsor, for being our sponsor and allowing us to bring information to the community about real estate, which we love, and that's what we do for a living. Even though we are in real estate, today we want to take the time to honor our veterans, honor and thank them, and just celebrate who they are and what they have done. We agree here in our company that it's definitely something worthwhile to do. And there is some overlap with real estate. We'll talk about later about it. But today we have a super special guest with us. He is actually a veteran, and he happens to be as well one of our agents in our office. So I want to welcome Brandon Harris to the program. Thank you for being here, Brandon.
Thanks for having me, Lizzy.
You're welcome. And Shawn, of course, Shawn Matthews.
Special guest Brandon Harris and Shawn Matthews. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Just want to show great gratitude for having me on, and Coldwell Banker Kinard Realty as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're very thankful that you're here. And I just want to mention that today is actually Thursday. It's not Saturday. Whether people are watching on a different day, we wanted to do this program today because it happens to be Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to be talking about Veterans Day, which some of my notes tell me, I did a little research, that it was established in 1926, Veterans Day.
Okay.
And the fact that it's celebrated on November the 11th is also very significant. The story behind it is that was the day where the armistice was signed, end of the World War I, huge day for the world. And it happened on the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918.
Wow.
Armistice. And incredible. I can only imagine President Woodrow Wilson, finally signing that agreement to end the war after 4 years, of battle, and after 70 million people, soldiers, dead.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine, going back to that time, 25 million people wounded. We have the greatest admiration for servicemen. And I tell you, I'm just going to give you free rein and tell us a little bit about you. And, you're now in real estate, but you served. Tell us where you served and what branch of the military.
Yeah, so in 2016, I joined the United States Air Force, and then I served out in Travis Air Force Base as a C-17 mechanic.
Nice.
Did roughly 10 months of pretty rigorous training to be qualified to work on those C-17 jets, which was probably the funnest part of that service term, was just being basically in school for 8 months and just getting to meet other people going through the same pipeline of training. And I got to see part of the world, I got to see Northern California, and that was a beautiful experience.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but I definitely, I'm humbled because many more people behind me did much more than I did and risked their lives for it. So, but I'm not here to look back on their death. It's more about what they live for, so that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
What was you had choices, what brought you to the Air Force? What made that happen?
I had always heard that you could travel, and that was really my big thing. I wanted to just get out and experience the world, and I thought, just coming from an altruistic perspective, I couldn't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you meet plenty of great people along the road of that
Absolutely.
Want to do the same thing.
Neat.
And we were talking off the air a little bit about the way the military training and military environment forges your character as a young man. and how I saw it in my son. You know, I was sharing with you guys that my son, I'm so proud of him. He joined the Navy for a while, and specifically the Navy SEAL program. And I could literally, when I talked to him over the years, I could sense the growth and the maturity level that he was experiencing.
Yeah.
The way he talked, the words he used, all of that. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're going through training, you're waking up every day at least 6 a.m. and it may not be the best wake-up call. It might be a pretty loud horn. But
yeah.
the point is that you come in with a work ethic and you're taught to perceive life as you have a job to do or a mission, and many people, you can take that and go as high as you want. So.
Order and operation, I like it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I try in any order of business I'm in, real estate, cleaning my backyard. I want to be structured and disciplined about that. So,
absolutely. That's something that will stay with you for the rest of your life, which is what I tell my son too. This is priceless, and this is not something that you learn in a school. No teacher can teach you that. Is going through it with other people, that rigorous training that only another military person can understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about what was your favorite memory as you were going through your military training?
Probably the best was basic military training, getting to, they don't let you get right away into physical exercise. You work into I think it's like the third week or so, and then you get to go out onto the training field, and you start doing push-ups and building your discipline. So getting to form what they call a flight when you're in a specific group together, and you start learning these military songs, and you start chiming off on it's almost like a special thing that everyone gets to go through, and you get the chance to sing those songs while you're running, and it just sends chills up your spine to be a part of that, and that was my
that's what
favorite
it's called,
part.
Right? Cadences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you experience as you're chanting these very uplifting, or sometimes it's even funny? I've heard some that are kind of
some can't be repeated.
Yeah, exactly.
So does it do something to your mind, or does it help you with physical pain, or what does it do to you as
I think
a
a lot of ways it's mind, and it's just getting to know, building that warrior mentality in a way, as some branches would call it. I didn't go through Navy SEALs. I initially was trying to go through SEER training in the Air Force, which is a part of Spec Ops.
Spec Ops. Mm-hmm.
But no, I still implemented what I wanted to go towards, which is making myself better at the end of the day, and that's really what I got out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, you hear these amazing stories about the Air Force.
Yeah.
Rigorous training, and you need to have a brain as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that 8 months training was, they call it tech school, right? So a lot of people think it's mainly those push-ups and pull-ups, but you're in the books. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I think as a realtor now, that you switch gears and you're working in real estate now, all of that is going to serve you very well. And like we were saying in the audience, right now there might be people that would connect with you, would want to work with you because of that, and not necessarily with Shawn or myself. I mean, and so that's absolutely great for you.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. Very honored.
Thank you so much.
To be in your company.
I'm honored to be here.
Yep, and I wouldn't have known it because you've never said it, but I saw a post about a memory of you getting your certificate from school, and then we asked you more about it, and you're pretty humble by it, but that's great, as a young person, your work ethic is so important, and it's great, it's great to have you on the team at Coldwell Banker. So if somebody wanted to reach out and work with you, how could they get a hold of you?
You can reach out to me. My number is 423-715-0551. This will be on Facebook as well, and so you feel free to message me on there as well.
Yeah, you feel free to repeat it throughout the program, because we want people to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the military, the armed forces in the United States, we're very blessed with having such a strong military. and so well equipped in the training is second to none in the world, and we're very proud and thankful for it, and we cannot do enough to support both veterans and active service people, because we need them,
and we never want to lose that freedom of what we're fighting for.
Exactly.
In this country, it's a very distinct thing about the United States. We're the free country, and we are supposed to be all equal. So
wholeheartedly, like we cannot take it for granted. I believe that President Reagan was right on point when he said, "Freedom through strength." That's inevitable because we're dealing with human nature, and there's always this struggle for power and control, and a strong military keeps the enemies at bay.
Yeah, keeps them in check. Mm-hmm.
In check. They know that they can't mess with you very easily, that you know how to defend yourself, you have the means. And so we're so grateful. We've lost so many lives in the military, and it's, to do a little program like this, it's just a little thing that we're doing, but we deeply are thankful for our military. And I love to talk about the different branches. It's very inspirational to me to browse through the websites, the U.S. Navy website, the Air Force website. It's still inspirational, the principles and their mission of each one of the branches. So I did a little bit of that. I don't know if you want to read, Shawn, some of those, like branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Navy. They have this tagline, "Forged by the Sea." I love that.
Yeah.
How powerful is that?
Right.
And their mission to recruit, train, equip, and organize to deliver combat-ready naval forces to win conflicts and wars while maintaining security and deterrence through sustained forward presence.
It's pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and we think about it. I'm a civilian, right? But my father was in the service, and my sisters, and they leveraged a lot of the opportunities that came from that. The GI Bill and education, but like you say, Lizzy, my youngest sister, she came back. She was different, very focused, and she's an engineer. But if I got lost in the woods, I would want her with me, you know what I mean? Because she got some serious training, and it was just a different gear. And then my other sister, Terry, that lives here in Benton, Tennessee, she, got medical training, through it and continued on and became an occupational therapist. So, but the military was responsible for that. She worked at Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C. And when the plane crashed into the Potomac and they got those patients, and that inspired her, but that was because of her, being involved in the military. And, that's a doctoral degree. And they helped her with that education through that process. So, I look back at it and I say, without the government doing that, we would not be in the position, that we are. There's a well-trained society that comes out of the military. And
absolutely. I can tell you about my son.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. He's right now about to graduate. He took a GI Bill. And he's getting this top-of-the-line education in Australia.
That's amazing.
Otherwise, he probably would have not been able to do it. Most likely.
Well,
at least not in Australia,
We talked to a client this week that's 93 years old, and he was a builder, and he said, it was so hard for people to buy houses because they had to save up 20%, and it was very hard. Wages were low, but he said when the GI Bill came out and veterans, could buy a home with zero down, he said it was a game changer. It really inspired. So it was very smart of the government to do that. We still have the the VA loans today. Big part of our financing package. So 100% financing. You'll probably use the VA bill when you buy a house, and so if somebody wanted to access an agent that understands that, they could call us and we can help them through that process. But I'm humbled by it. My father, being it my father-in-law was a Green Beret, and I always say he tolerated me as a civilian.
Civilian.
And he tried to understand me, but I learned a lot from him, whether it was maintenance on our lawnmower. Okay, so he would pull out the book and he would start from A to Z, and this is how you did it, this is where you kept it, this is where you kept the tools, this is how often we did it. 24 years in the military, so really a great teacher. You
were blessed.
Oh,
Shawn,
it was
a dad like that.
Yeah, and it was just to have that as a resource. He was the JO ROTC instructor at Red Bank High School.
Oh.
Wow.
So he took those young minds. He taught the rifle team. Could you imagine going to high school and getting to shoot a 50 caliber rifle? I don't think they're doing it with live ammo anymore. They use the airsoft rifles, but these guys came out and now they're teaching high school kids the same disciplines. So my son went through JO ROTC for 4 years, and I can see it in him when he problem solves. Of like how he looks at something. And even if I have a conflict at work, he will break it down. As a 21-year-old, that's military, training. So I'm impressed with it.
Well, absolutely. And for the people in the audience that are waiting, okay, so what happened with the Army? What are you going to say about the Army?
Come on,
so
bring it out.
Here we go. So the Army is one of the largest and most important government organizations in the United States. Its function is to defend the American people from aggressors with a force of qualified, skilled, and dedicated soldiers. From the first skirmishes at Lexington and Concord to the Civil War to the liberation of Nazi-controlled Europe, American soldiers are celebrated for their vigor, bravery, and combat. I mean, we can go on and on talking about the Army of the United States, and only somebody that is either related closely to a soldier, married, by marriage or blood, can really understand the sacrifices and what it really takes to be in the Army. We're just very grateful. Air Force is next. The Air Force, they say, we do the impossible every day. That's what it says on their website. Think about that. We do the impossible every day. The mission of the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. Whether full-time, part-time, or out of uniform, everyone who serves plays a critical role in helping us achieve mission success. We pursue our mission with excellence and integrity to become leaders, innovators, and warriors. You agree with that?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Awesome.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be biased, right?
No,
That's the
you don't
branch
wanna
I
be
was in. When you're in, there's always this, you could call it smack talk, where they're like, well, our branch is a little more, you could say masculine. We're more physical, and I don't disagree with that, but there will be others that would. So
Right.
it's
but
always funny.
As long as the competition is to get better.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and read a little bit about the Marine Corps?
Sure. So the values behind our standard, the incertitude of battle, character matters. Every Marine fights with our nation. Expectations to represent it well at home and abroad. The values instilled not only direct every action, but unite every Marine, holding all Marines to the same high standard. Latin for always faithful, and it's pronounced semper
Fidelis.
Fidelis. Okay. Semper Fi, as I always heard it. The shortcut.
Right.
Is the motto for every Marine, and an eternal and collective commitment to the success of battles, the program, our nation, steadfast loyalty to the fellow Marines we fight alongside. So
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just so inspiring. You only wish that, us in the civilian world would apply some of these concepts and these principles in our daily living, at work, and wherever in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
These soldiers are trained. These people are trained to, put their lives at risk. You never leave a fellow soldier behind and wounded.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And if we were all willing to do that, even as civilians, we would live in a different world, wouldn't we?
I agree 100%. Yeah. And I think that's what it's about, is serving, each and every one of us.
I think you were saying something very profound before we started. You said you don't have to be in the military to serve others.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Because ultimately we're serving the people, and if we can all agree to do that as well, it could be like you said, a different world. So
Absolutely. So go ahead and give your number again.
Number is 423-715-0551. Working with Shawn and Lizzy for Coldwell Banker and Kinard Realty.
Yes, and we guarantee you're going to be very well served if you hire Brandon as your listing agent or help you buy a house. High quality people here in this office, no doubt about it. We're very proud.
And you grew up in Cleveland, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you're a local guy, and you graduated which high school?
Notre Dame High School,
Notre Dame,
Chattanooga, so I
okay.
was commuting quite a bit, but this is where I was at living.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you back. I know when you interviewed, it was interesting because you traveled a little bit. You talked about some of that. So, welcome. Thanks for being on the team for sure.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Great.
Yeah. So I would like to give you an opportunity to just, from your heart, just give a word of encouragement to the veterans out there. I mean, the people that maybe have seen it all. And they have their minds or their hearts wounded one way or another because of going through the experience of war or things like that.
All I can say is, it's not over those that went before us and served. It's not over what they did and what it means to us now. And there's still, I'd say there's a lot of work that has to be done, right? So there's, what they did isn't a waste. No one should ever feel like what they did was a moment of just, nothingness. It means something going on to the future, and we should never, take too many steps back. We should keep taking steps forward and, progressing as a nation, and as a globe.
Yeah,
that's good. Good word.
It is a good word, and that's why we celebrate it. We wanted to make this kind of an important day because we truly feel that way, for all the veterans. So
absolutely,
thank you for your service, and I'm humbled by everything that I see, read, and hear, from the veterans.
We all are, and we cannot thank you enough. And for the general audience that was tuning in today, thank you for your time and paying attention to what we had to say today. We're very grateful. We don't take our audience for granted. And so, again, thanks for tuning in. We ran out of time, but we will be here, Lord willing, next Saturday. Have a good day.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers. Appointed over me. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and borne by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Have you seen the new Coldwell Banker North Star signs? Coldwell Banker Kinard Realty has been serving the East Tennessee and North Georgia area since 1974, with 5 offices in Cleveland, Tennessee, Dalton, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Calhoun, Georgia. With the latest technology, CBKR's 145 licensed agents are ready to serve all your real estate needs. Call today, 423-476-5532. They offer residential, commercial, and land and property management. Call and speak to one of their licensed professionals today.